Okay, so let's look at social welfare analysis of the negative consumption externality another way, or let's do it one more time. We have, again, we have the marginal social benefit curve shifted to the left because it is a way of reflecting the negative consequences to society of having cigarettes. Remember, there's private benefit, but if you're dealing with secondhand smoke, you're not actually participating in the market. In other words, in the decision-making of the market, but you're dealing with the smoke. So we have to shift the curve to reflect that. The value of social surplus, okay, social surplus, and remember, social surplus is another way of saying the sum of producer and consumer surplus. Social surplus at point 1, or social surplus at the market-determined equilibrium is equal to A, B, D, E, F. So A plus B plus D plus E plus F. Then the negative externality is equal to the distance between the two, the marginal private benefit curve and the marginal social benefit curve at the market equilibrium point. So it's the distance between the two curves. So we say, okay, it's A and B, but don't forget, we have to capture this section C here as well. I'm sorry, not C, E, C, I think it's C, sorry. I wrote that a little badly. C. A, B, C, because that captures, again, look, we're looking at the equilibrium quantity and the distance between the two, right? Because that's the value of the negative consequences, or that's the costs to everybody in society because of the secondhand cigarette smoke. The negative externality is equal to A plus B plus C. A plus B plus C. So if we look at the social surplus accounting for the externality, we can take social surplus before, social surplus at market equilibrium, and subtract the negative externality. So let's do that, right? So we have A plus B plus D plus E plus F minus A plus B plus C is going to equal, well, let's just cross out the common terms, is going to be equal to D plus E plus F minus C. Okay, so what does all this mean? That means that when we're left with, when we look at social surplus after accounting for the externality, we see we have D, E, F is what's left. This is the benefit to consumers and producers of consuming at what actually is the optimal equilibrium, point 2, not point 1, but we also have this negative consequence of C that didn't go away. So the value, I'm sorry, I misspoke. The actual value of being at market equilibrium when we account for the negative externality is DEF with a deadweight loss of C. C is a deadweight loss, right? When we start to subtract out of social surplus the value of the externality, we take A is gone, B is gone, C is taken out of social surplus, but it was never part of social surplus to begin with. In other words, this is just deadweight loss to society from the over-allocation of resources. The over-allocation of resources. Okay, so social welfare analysis of negative externalities can be a little tricky, but just remember that all it is taking the value of social surplus at equilibrium and subtracting the value of the externality, right? So this has to be taken into account. This was never part of producer or consumer surplus at all, right? This is just pure negative consequences for society, triangle C. So in the next video, we'll take a look at maybe what we can do about negative production externalities.